Snowing, snowing, snowing in Wells still today. Seems like a good day to think about Kung Fu. Welcome to the next video in this line of discussions with Seafood John Kaufman over in Hong Kong. I am Joey Only up here in the Caribou Mountains in Wells, British Columbia. This is my YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, and if you're going to do that, also go over to Seafood Kaufman's channel. You can find it right here and subscribe to it. This is a continuation of our conversation sort of yesterday where we were talking about falling off the roof. But today's conversation that I'm releasing is a section that I'll call the danger of self-evaluation. So we kept it short today, but I did want to give a shout out to this comment on our YouTube channel. K Corn is Big on the video Nim Tao, You Can't Know How, There Is No How. That's part 6 of John Kaufman, Wing Chun. And his comment is beautiful. It says this: "These little secrets of truth are most of what Bruce Lee had said in his books and movies, and we know where he got it from. He heard it from Yip and Chu Shang Tin. It will do it all by itself. Be water, don't think to do, or you will stumble and fail. The finger pointing to the moon. All that heavenly glory, how did it feel? Don't think, do, Zen." As he said and learned from Yip, Shang, and anyone else who would direct him in the path of being, I always considered his art, his Wing Chun. Wing Chun is more the way to discovery. This is the cycle to mastery. I learned the punch and the ways to apply it in different situations. I learned to kick and all the ways to apply it. I learned my body's balance and how it works in different situations and the way it reacts. Then forget the punch. Then forget the kick. Then forget the balance. Forget the forms. Forget the past. Losses and wins. Now the hard part. Clipping away as you go more and more to the now just do it. And just do it. What needs to be done as it needs to be done. Everything will be as it should. What an elusive idea, the Zen. And his symbols, nothing learned an idea to something more, to the highest mastery to nothingness, Zen. So cool listening. John and Joey, thanks for your finger pointing to the finger of the true now. I thought put a lot of effort into making that comment, so I thought it deserved to be read. And I've also been able to make some friends. So special shout out to my newest Wing Chun friend, Billy McCartney. Thanks for sending me such great messages. My new Facebook friend, Marty Anderson. I hope to get to talk to you at some point soon. And to all of you out there, please enjoy this video today.
These like rushes of emotions last, or the what did you call it there? The shivers up the spine, right? And as we're talking and realizing like this has been part of my idea, but I didn't fully know how to do it because I was trying to know how to do it, except that no one had said to me, what you're doing is really good. So I found this last 2 weeks able to access that, and just imagining, well, what will years of allowing myself to access that more freely and openly do, right? Like after one conversation, I was like, whew. And just so many things changed. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean.
I do. And I'm sorry for saying this, okay? But I'm going to say it anyway because I consider you to be a friend now. And it matters to me the legitimacy of not only your knowledge, but your ability. Because I know that that's what really gives us the most satisfaction. Because why? Because it's what's real. Okay? And it doesn't matter how much I think I know compared to what I know is real about my own ability. So having said all of that, there's a trap. There's a very big trap to observing our increasing knowledge and abilities, what we presume to be our abilities. And that trap is that as you start to understand, and I can say this because I have suffered from this myself over and over again. So I'm as guilty of this as anyone, if not more so. As our conceptual knowledge increases and we continue to practice and we believe our skill level increases, which in reality, it may very well be increasing, it's easy to fall into the trap of being satisfied with what we know and what we're doing. or even just the trap, perhaps even a bigger trap, a more important one, of when we're actually like chi-sang with someone, when we're performing, when we're actually doing stuff, that we're observing it. And there's some part of our mind is evaluating us and taking pleasure and pride in our increased knowledge and ability. Okay? By that very activity of evaluating, of self-evaluation, and how it relates to, yeah, I'm getting better. Or look, I can deal with this guy better now. Okay? We're actually still remaining within the realm of holding ourselves back from the transcendence of mind and body connection. And that is a huge trap that it's so easy to fall into. So I might come back to Hong Kong after a year or two away thinking I'm pretty good now. But as soon as I touch hands with someone who's good enough, and they don't even have to be that great, okay? If I have any semblance of honesty looking at what's happening in the moment, I'm going to know right away, shit, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Okay. Or now I go to Sifu Man and I think now, oh, look, I learned how to use my body like this. And I start touching hands with someone who's good enough. And believe me, there are people there who are, let alone Sifu Man himself, who definitely is. Okay. And I'm going to know if I have any semblance of honesty right away. Oh, Jesus, I'm better than I was, but I'm nowhere near what I want to be. Okay. I'm not as whole as I think I was or want to be. I'm not using my body as freely moving it as I want to be. I might move it. I might be pretty released and moving and letting my body move very freely. Now, maybe 2 or 3 moves, but all of a sudden, whoops, it starts to like be more inhibited. And it's always going to come down to, how consistent can I be is going to be determined by how consistent you are when I touch hands with you. It's always going to be, that kind of a level and where I'm at that level.
Yeah, man.
So that's a trap. So when you start to describe for me, I'm not really trying to be critical, but when you start to describe for me, how you're doing it well with this guy or that guy, or how you're able to do it better than you were a month ago at this, that, and the other thing. My best advice, which admittedly you didn't ask for, but what the fuck? My best advice is we all do that. And we're all got to have egos, and we have human nature, and we take pride in our increased skill and abilities that we can observe, no question. But you'd be a lot better off, in my view, the same way I would be a lot better off, in my view, the same, as if I can limit that mental approach and simply just keep going. Mm-hmm. Just keep the idea of wholeness and the idea of movement, and not think about anything else. Not try to evaluate my how well am I doing it, or even how well am I pulling it off versus this partner or that partner. Just the idea itself of wholeness and motion. Wholeness in motion, wholeness in motion, wholeness in motion. Nothing else. Nothing else. Okay? Don't start being proud of yourself. The more pride you have of your abilities, the less progress you will make. And although may sound funny to say, it's true. It's true. That's why the best people I know, and I really mean this, the best people I know never talk about themselves. They never talk about their own skill level. And if you were to ask them, are you good at this? They don't even want to answer you. I'm sure they have their own feeling about and their own conclusions. Then it probably is, yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm not saying that they have some sort of false humility, but they don't want to answer you because they don't want to talk about it, because they know it's got nothing to do with how good they really are or getting better, which is all that really counts. You do what you want. But my best advice to you is stop thinking about you and stop thinking about your own skill and comparing what you know to someone else and being able to talk about it to me or you or anybody else. Focus on the underlying state of wholeness in motion. Nothing else counts for anything. And the reason why, I'm just going to say this, the reason why you can fall off a roof and survive a lot better than I can is because when the fall is happening, you are in a certain state of mind and therefore body that allows you to deal with it a lot better than I can. And that's a fact. That's a fact. And it has nothing to do with you taking pride in that. And it has nothing to do with you figuring out how to fall off a roof.
The big thing is to not care.
It's if you
it's
care,
easy.
Right, exactly. Because what is caring? What is caring in actuality? What does it mean when you care? It means you're thinking, the conscious mind. You're evaluating and drawing conclusions. Right? Otherwise, there's nothing to care about. Okay? There's just falling. You can care very much. When, Joey? When? After you land. Okay?
Use it
but not while it's happening, right? And I have a really good friend who does Wing Chun as well. He's one of my students, and he's been my students, I don't know, for like 12 years. Okay. And he told me, funny, he mentioned falling off a roof. He told me a month or two ago when we were talking about things, because that he fell off his roof. And he said, "Hey, John, I landed and everything was fine. I didn't get hurt at all because my body knew how to handle it." And that's exactly what you're telling me. That's what I'm telling you, that your body knows how to handle it. Whereas if I fell off a roof, I'd probably freeze up and I'd probably break some bones. But your body knows how to handle it. And you can analyze that all you want. And I don't have any problem with that because you're only analyzing it after the fact. And I believe there's a value to that. And what would you'd probably conclude when you analyzed it? That you stayed relaxed, that your muscles stayed loose, that allowed you to move and torque and pivot in certain ways through space, that allowed you to land in a certain way where more of your body surface took up the force of gravity on your body. Okay. And that's why you didn't get hurt. Okay. Where I may get tense, and therefore when I land, my muscles are more frozen. I'm landing on some bone and it cracks. Okay.
And you like put your hand out because you don't want to hit the ground.
Right.
Mistake.
That does what? Break your collarbone. Okay.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is that you can analyze that and you'd probably be 100% correct after the fact, but that has nothing to do with actual skill your mind and body has developed, so that when you fall off a roof, you got a better chance of surviving with less injury than I do. Okay. And that's exactly what my friend told me, what he described to the same experience.
I've fallen down so many steep hillsides, mountainsides, off roofs.
So in your martial activity, if you can learn to allow the mind to naturally direct the body in that way, then you're way ahead of the game. Okay. Now, but what you need, the trap you don't want to fall into is the easy trap of what I just said was, if you can allow the mind to direct the body in that way. That's what I said, because I don't know how else to say it, okay? But it's easy subconsciously for you to then try to use the mind to direct the body in like a forebrain conscious way. Do this, do that. And that's the opposite of what we're talking about, okay? It's the opposite of what we're talking about. So when I say allow the mind to direct the body in a natural way, it's not the how to. It's not the KNOW how to. It's the transcendence way. And it's what you said. I forget what you said a minute ago about, I don't know, not doing something, or, stopping, not doing, letting it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it boils down to.